Coming up on UCF Nightly News, we'll give you an update on the Trevor Colburn Hall investigation.
A new petition on social media is calling for change in the College of Business. Find out what is causing conflicts between students and UCF officials.
It's been 1 year since Hurricane Maria. Find out how UCF is continuing to help the Puerto Rican community.
In sports, learn about the new team coming to Central Florida.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to UCF Nightly News. I'm Nathaniel Rivas.
And I'm Jessica Herman. Today is Friday, September 21st, 2018.
This week, the investigation begins. An outside law firm is coming to UCF to investigate how the university misspent $38 million. Now, we're learning that the new number in misused funds is over $50 million.
We're going to be much more careful about identifying the sources of funds.
Yesterday's Board of Trustees meeting revealed within the last 5 years, UCF additionally misspent more money on construction projects. We told you last week about how Bill Merck, UCF's former chief financial officer, stepped down from his position. And we tried to get Merck's side of the story, but he wouldn't comment on the issue.
Hi, Bill Merck?
I'm not going to do an interview.
You don't? Okay.
That $38 million from last week is now more than $50 million in misappropriated E&G funds.
And we received documentation that shows UCF misspent an additional $13.8 million in E&G funding to construct 8 university projects.
Here's a breakdown of those 8 construction projects. These 3 projects, the band building, facility surplus showroom and postal hub, and the research building, all misused E&G funding totaling $10 million. And nearly $3.8 million in E&G funds were used in these 5 projects.
We'll be seeking clarity from the state on portions of funding for another 5 projects.
SGA President Josh Bologna says this is a terrible situation to be in for the university.
Nothing that anyone expected. I mean, just speaking to administrators or just staff that has been involved, this is a huge issue.
The next update on this investigation will be at the Board of Trustees meeting this coming Thursday, September 27th. In Orlando, Olivia Parsons, UCF Nightly News.
Brian K. Leighton Paisner, the Atlanta law firm conducting the investigation, did not give a timeline as to when the investigation is expected to finish, especially with yesterday's new findings. We'll continue to bring you updates as the investigation continues.
With the next round of contract negotiations on the horizon, the UCF Faculty Union is dealing with the implications of the Colburn Hall money mismanagement. UCF officials admitted last week to improperly putting $38 million of education and general funds toward the construction of the new Colburn Hall building. Leaders with the UCF Faculty Union claim that those funds could have gone to employee salaries. In an email to union members, Scott Lanier, president of the United Faculty of Florida at UCF, wrote that he was alarmed but not surprised. He also wrote that he hopes the investigation is impartial. One union official thinks UCF's response to the incident proves that the university can afford the faculty salaries and the benefits the union is fighting for.
When we make requests, we're told that we're reaching for too much because there isn't funding. I think that in some ways it's harder for people to believe that money doesn't exist in some spaces that can be moved into areas of strategic priority, especially when we're able to see the university repay the funds that were mismanaged pretty quickly.
Sandoval says she would like to see more consistency between the fiscal responsibilities placed on faculty and administration. The next round of contract negotiations will be held on campus this Tuesday, September 25th.
This week, the Student Government Association announced a scholarship in remembrance of Ruel Buchanan. Back in April, a car hit and killed Buchanan while he was crossing Alafaya Trail. After 5 months, Florida Highway Patrol Officer Kim Montez says the incident is under review once again. A recent update is that the driver had a green light and the right-of-way. SGA tweeted that this $1,000 scholarship is for minority and non-traditional students. The application deadline is October 22nd, and students can apply for the scholarship at ucf.academicworks.com.
A business blog gone podcast. Dean of the UCF College of Business, Paul Jarley, started an all-new podcast called Is This Really a Thing? The podcast features local experts and enthusiasts that discuss whether or not up-and-coming ideas are really a thing. Jarley says the college is always looking for a different vehicle to have conversations with students. Jarley started a blog in August of 2011 aimed directly to students. With the podcast, Jarley says he's trying to reach a larger audience.
So while I have 9,500 students here in the college that I'm looking to have a conversation with, I have 65,000 alumni all over the world who I'm also trying to have a conversation with.
In the latest episodes of Is This Really a Thing?, Jarley sat down with professionals to discuss esports, Bitcoin, and ghosting in the workplace.
A new class format in the UCF College of Business Administration is sparking frustration among students. 10 students are now trying to lead others to find a peaceful and professional solution. Nightly News reporter Evan Abramson tells us more about the change Knights for Cuba Reform is trying to create.
1,900 signatures on a petition, and the Knights for Cuba Reform are itching for change. One Cuba Reform leader is junior pre-finance major Michael Wensinger.
We feel that we're not being educated properly, we're not spent, our money isn't being well spent. And we think that with the new reduced seating format that there could be some fixes and tweaks that could help improve the students' overall experience.
Senior Chris Cummings is another leader.
We'd like to see more face-to-face classes. We'd like to see that more in-depth interaction. As it comes down to it, we're not getting that.
The Knights for Cuba Reform don't want violence or disrupting protest. They just want change through professional channels.
We don't want in any way to tarnish the UCF name or brand or anything like that because we're students here. We respect the school, we're excited to go here, we just want to get our education and learn.
Now, while the Knights for Cuba Reform want change and have a lot of good reasons for it, Dean Jarley says there are 5.3 million reasons why they can't add new faculty, and that's the amount of dollars it will cost to add all those new teachers. Dean Paul Jarley says he's aware of the group's message, but hiring more teachers and offering more face-to-face classes are not options.
So we've been searching for a format that would provide us a vehicle to reach all 8,500 of my undergraduate students.
Wensinger and other students say this new class format is giving students trouble with grades. But Jarley says students need to take advantage of the resources available to them.
I want them, if they're having challenges with the course, to go see their instructor. That's what they should do, right? If they're not getting what they need from their instructor, they can go to their department chair.
Now, Wensinger says that these resources aren't being made available. It's one of the concerns the group has with not having an everyday face-to-face class. But Jarley says he hasn't heard complaints from department chairs. Now, the Knights for Cuba Reform are going to continuously try and raise awareness over the next couple of weeks. You can sign their petition online at change.org. Back to you, Nathaniel and Jessica at the news desk.
Thanks, Evan. The Knights for Cuba Reform say their next steps include holding more group meetings and eventually having a sort of town hall meeting with Dean Jarley. They want to discuss what can be done about the issues and how something soon can be done.
Spectrum News 13 hosted a meteorology experience for young journalists. Spectrum News 13 meteorologists Maureen McCann and Mallory Nichols took UCF students under their wing for the day. The day included a tour around the newsroom and in all 4 of the live studios, finishing the tour in the weather studio. Students were able to see firsthand what McCann and Nichols do behind the scenes. All students say they were grateful for this learning experience in the right direction. Spectrum News 13 has not said whether they will be hosting another meteorology experience again.
Just a friendly reminder, class is closed today at 2:30 thanks to the football game. But Jess, I hope the weather's good for tonight.
I hope it's good weather tonight too. It was extremely hot out this morning. Alex, what's the weather looking like?
Well, unfortunately, Jessica, Florida has other ideas. So right now it is 80 degrees outside with a humidity of 87%. So we've got that typical soupy Florida air out there right now. Winds right now are coming out of the northeast at 5 miles per hour. Now that's expected to pick up to 10 to 15 miles per hour in the early part of tailgating, with gusts up to 20 miles per hour. So if you have anything light that might blow away, tents, small dogs, you might want to make sure that it's tied down while you're tailgating out there. Now, our conditions for the game tonight, Those conditions are going to be a little bit warmer, 82 degrees. Our humidity is going to calm down a little bit though at 72%. Winds are going to be out of the east at 10 miles per hour. And our chance of rain is only 10 to 20%. So pretty good chance that our game against FAU is going to be nice and dry. Go Knights. Now back to Nathaniel and Jessica at the desk.
Thanks, Alex. Coming up, learn how the School of Nursing is using grants to combat the opioid crisis.
Plus, see how health officials are preparing for the early onset of flu season.
We'll be right back. UCF Health Service officials say flu season has started early this year. Flu season usually doesn't start until October, but there's already been 9 cases of the flu reported at the UCF Health Center. Florida Health Department officials say they are expecting additional outbreaks in the coming weeks. Dr. James Souse has worked as a UCF Health Service doctor for about 17 years. Souse says when someone gets the flu, symptoms appear quickly. That's why he encourages everyone to get their flu shot as soon as possible before the end of October. That way the vaccine can protect them throughout the entire flu season. Since last Friday, Health Services has given almost 400 flu shots.
I would say prevention is extraordinarily important. We give vaccines to things that are prevalent and very harmful, and certainly the flu, it characterizes those two elements.
Students can get their flu shots for free at the UCF Health Services Center.
A total of 2 $10,000 grants was donated to the College of Nursing. These grants provide resources to build research projects. Nightly News spoke with the professors who will be leading these new projects. The new grants will help jumpstart projects on opioids and online simulation. These opioid research projects aim to enhance student learning. Leading the project is Assistant Professor Michael Valenti. He's trying to get rid of negative stigmas, but is addressing this epidemic in a different way.
We decided to come up with a simulation in which we would use live actors as patients and put undergraduate and graduate nursing students in a simulation to interact with those actors or patients.
Valenti says these resources will ultimately boil down to quality care and will have a large impact on all communities. Director of Undergraduate Clinical Education, Joyce DeGennaro, is using her grant to enhance online simulation. DeGennaro says she is bringing the simulation to the classroom so all students can get the same hands-on experience.
Instead of saying, well, I don't know, I've never experienced, I've never had that happen before, I've never seen that we're able to give them that experience regardless if they get it in the clinical setting or in the classroom setting.
DeGennaro says this is a huge advancement for UCF's nursing program.
It means that we are being very innovative and taking real world problems that have arrived from just the healthcare setting and in general and bringing solutions to it.
She says she wants students to be more prepared to take care of members of our community. The UCF College of Nursing plans on applying for more grants in the future to help enhance student learning. UCF's nursing school relies on these grants to pay for expensive projects the school wouldn't be able to get otherwise.
Coming up, get a look at your 5-day forecast.
We'll be right back.
The new Puerto Rico Research Hub started up on Wednesday. This comes 1 year after Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico. A panel discussion Wednesday focused not only on the past, but looked to the future.
The phone calls just kept coming, they kept coming. Students started showing up in the office.
The panel discussions Wednesday not only reflected on Hurricane Maria, but jump-started a new program. The Puerto Rico Research Hub aims to be a leader in facts and resources about the Puerto Rican community. Dr. Fernando Rivera stressed the importance of building partnerships through research.
Now more than ever, we have sort of a necessity to have research, to have informed decisions as we move forward in this process. And that's sort of the vision of the Puerto Rico Research Hub.
The Puerto Rican community has been a big part of UCF long before Hurricane Maria. Dr. Cynthia Muniz is glad UCF will continue to support this community.
It only makes sense for Orlando's hometown university to also be the focal point in which we create knowledge and document the contributions, the impact of this community on Central Florida.
Student Jose Rivera says he is proud to be a Knight. He wants everyone at UCF to rally together and be a leader in Central Florida.
To embrace diversity, to embrace that inclusion, to embrace all the new challenges we're facing, because united, we can face whatever comes and we can do it in a great way.
Dr. Rivera hopes the Research Hub will be a testament of UCF and can be a model in the future.
My vision, my hope is that we build this in a capacity that it can be used as a blueprint for other communities as well.
The Research Hub will help UCF continue to be a leader for Puerto Ricans in Central Florida. Dr. Rivera encourages people to send him feedback. Responses can be sent to prresearchhub@ucf.edu. Hey Jessica, did you know fall season officially starts tomorrow night?
I know, I'm excited. I'm hoping for some cool weather.
Honestly.
Alex, can you tell me how it's going to be this weekend?
Again, Jessica, I really appreciate your enthusiasm, but this is Florida we're talking about, so unfortunately, I don't have much good news in the way of cooling temperatures this upcoming week. I do actually want to give everyone an update on the tropics and potential tropical storms and hurricanes that might be coming up. So right now, this is what things look like in the Atlantic. Every yellow X represents a potential disturbance that could become a tropical storm or a hurricane. So this X that you see right here is actually the remnants of Hurricane Florence. Now we know that Hurricane Florence pummeled the Carolinas, Georgia, and Virginia over last weekend, and obviously our thoughts are with them, but there might be some more bad news in store for the southeast United States because this system right here has a 20% chance in the next 5 days of actually reforming into a tropical storm or hurricane. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on that for you and stay updated with nightly news to make sure you're getting all those updates on what the tropics are looking like and if any of these storms are coming in. Now these other yellow X's here, this one down here, and this one across over here off the coast of Africa, those X's are also representing disturbances that could become tropical storms or hurricanes. Now, all of those have a 10 to 20% chance of becoming tropical storms or hurricanes within the next 48 hours. So again, well, we don't have anything really big or crazy going on in the Atlantic right now, but there are a couple potential things that we are watching, and Nightly News is going to keep you updated on that on social media. Now we're going to look at our highs throughout the state of Florida. So we have a high of 93 in Tallahassee, a high of 87 in Jacksonville, 91 in Tampa, and 92 right here in Orlando, and a high of 88 down in Miami. Now for our lows, 72 in Tallahassee, 76 in Jacksonville, 75 in both Tampa and Orlando, and 79 for our low down south in Miami. And now for our 5-day forecast. So for our 5-day forecast, we have 90 degrees and of a high and mid-70s as our low for the next 3 days, tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday, with a 50% chance of rain. Tuesday and Wednesday, chance of rain goes down a little bit, but Wednesday, the temperature is going to increase a little bit, high of 92 there on Wednesday. And that's all the weather we have. Let's send it back to Nathaniel and Jessica at the desk.
Thanks, Alex. Coming up, we'll give you a sneak peek at the new football team coming to town.
We'll be right back.
Knights fans, I'm Kennedy Holder, and here's your UCF Sports. Professional football in Orlando now has a name. Orlando's Alliance of American Football team revealed its name and logo yesterday. The team will be called the Orlando Apollos. The name and logos are picked to honor the region's connection with the space program. The team will be led by UF former coach Steve Spurrier. So far, the team has signed 9 former Knights, including Shaquan Burkett and Tony Garrard. Spurrier says the Apollos are hoping to build on the football success started by UCF.
We're going to be much more careful about identifying the.
We got things related to Orlando and Central Florida, and we're going to do our best to put a heck of a team out there and hopefully try to do what the UCF Knights have been doing. We're going to play in their stadium, out at the Spectrum Stadium.
The season kicks off in February and will run through April. Men's basketball released their complete schedule Wednesday. The calendar has been updated to include AAC games, most TV tip times, and TV networks. Anticipated games include a home rematch versus Alabama on November 29th. The AAC portion of the season begins on January 2nd when the Knights host Temple at 7 p.m. The schedule includes 2 additions to the War on I-4 against USF, both in February. The Knights will host an exhibition game versus Flagler on October 29th at CFE Arena. The season opens on November 6th at home at CFE Arena against Ryder at 7 p.m. And that's all the time we have today for sports. Now back to Nathaniel and Jessica at the desk.
Thanks, Kennedy. That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our Twitter at UCF Nightly News.
And if you've got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@gmail.com.
And stay with us to watch a special nighted Latino show called Cuba, Art and Soul.
Thanks for watching and have a good day.
You may know Cuba for its colorful antique cars,
for its controversial political history,
for its famous sites, like the Siwa, El Malecón,
or its complicated economy.
But in this special report, we're showing you a different side of Cuba, a side overflowing with vibrant youth and creativity.
And we're taking you through the streets of Havana, deep into the island, to a town called Cienfuegos.
Join us as we explore these resourceful communities filled with hope for the future.
This is Cuba, Art and Soul.
But before we head to the next destination, we stopped in the capital of Cuba, Havana. Down the streets of Havana, you can find colorful murals, antique cars, and locals walking down the streets of their community. While we were walking there, we stopped at Proyecto Moraleando. The project was established on January 21st, 2001 by 2 local artists. Here, teachers organize art workshops that include paintings, learning folk dance, and how to play instruments. Elizabeth Gamona Mena, a graphic design graduate from the University of Havana, says she is happy to be a part of Proyecto Moraleando.
Bueno, no podía pedir algo mejor. Lo que ven aquí es las personas son muy humanas, se sienten bien con ayudar, hacen de todo por ver a las personas alrededor de ellos felices.
The group of artists transform Havana's community by adding beautiful artwork to the streets. The next stop we made was to Callejón de Amel. Callejón de Amel is a narrow alley filled with murals inspired by the Afro-Cuban community.
En toda esta mitología de antecedente africano que en Cuba está viva, o sea, son religiones llamadas en Cuba religiones, para otros brujería, magia negra, sistemas mágicos religiosos, pero para nosotros son religiones que son importantes, forman parte de nuestra idiosincrasia y por sobre todas las cosas forman parte de nuestras herramientas para enfrentar las crisis que tenemos aquí en Cuba.
To wrap up our trip in Havana, we stopped at Old Havana, the city center and one of the highest populated areas. Now, on to Cienfuegos.
Tus ojos sobre mí, aún puedo yo sentir, queriéndome expresar de tu alma la ansiedad.
I'm Nathaniel Rivas, and I love to travel. Family vacations and mission trips have taken me all over the world. I seek out new thrills and adventures, and I can't wait to show you what I found in Cuba.
Reprimir una lágrima en mí, que mis labios te busquen inútilmente.
Although famous for the big city of Havana, Cuba is more than meets the eye. Our journey begins in the small town of Cienfuegos, which is less than 3 hours away from Havana by car. Nicknamed the Pearl of the South, Cienfuegos has no shortage of architectural jewels and 19th century character. Our first stop is to the heart of the city, Parque José Martí. This park, which lies in the city's center, was named for Cuba's national hero, José Martí. Martí is a symbol of Cuba's revolution and is known for some of the best works of literature in Cuba. Judith Bermudez says the park is the must-see center of Cienfuegos.
This area is composed by different buildings which are surrounding the park. And here there are places that whenever you come to Cienfuegos, you cannot skip. So you have to visit these places, like where the center of the first kilometer of the city, from which all the layouts of the city were designed.
Although Cienfuegos is almost 200 years old, the city has a modern look and feel and continues to evolve. These chairs are over 100 years old, and people come to the José Martí Park to relax and meet with friends. But there's something new in this park. In the past couple years, people connect to Wi-Fi. This city center has modern influences from Europe and the Americas. You'll see a reoccurring architectural theme of domes and arcs as we take you to different sites around the park. Our first city highlight is dramatically close to the city center. Teatro Teri is a famous landmark that has witnessed some of the finest acts to ever come to Cuba. Across the street sits one of the oldest buildings, the City Hall of Cienfuegos. Arguably holding the most significance of all is the historical cathedral. It stands in its own right with large stained glass windows and religious items. On our next stop, we take you less than 2 hours away to another UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is Trinidad. This town, located in central Cuba, is known for its colonial-style architecture and cobblestone streets. Its colorful colonial homes and large plazas tell a tale of wealth and prosperity. The neoclassical city center, Plaza Mayor, is eye-catching for its neoclassical design and botanical gardens. This historical town is full of artisans and many handmade gifts that represent the island. Trinidad has been preserved so well. Much like our next stop, their success is conservation and preservation. Overlooking the Cienfuegos Bay is the Castillo de Jagua, or Jagua Castle. Built between the years of 1733 and 1745, the fort stood to prevent pirates from entering the bay. The fort never fired a shot and was never attacked. Slaves from the city of Trinidad used local materials such as marine stones and resin from trees to create the fort. Tour guide Idalmis Rios says the fort remains important to Cuba.
De hecho, pertenece, es un símbolo, es un monumento nacional, pertenece a los monumentos nacionales de esta fortaleza en 1978. Sí, claro, es un símbolo.
Jagua Castle is the best preserved of 3 forts in Cuba. In 1998, the fort opened to the public as a museum. Restoration efforts began in 2014. The fort consists of cannons, living quarters, and a drawbridge. Rio says the fort is special, not only for the island, but for her personal life.
¿Y qué puedo decir? Toda la etapa de mi vida aquí. Desde mi casa hasta aquí, todo estoy el tiempo aquí. Claro que sí. Es muy fundamental en mi vida.
Back across the bay of Cienfuegos stands the Bodega Palace. This palace is one of the reasons Cienfuegos gets his name as the South Pearl. Palacio del Valle at first glance looks like just another beautiful castle, but if you look close, you'll see that the luxurious building is filled with symbolism, from the two sphinx that guard the doors to a gazebo that looks towards the Cienfuegos Bay. The majestic Del Valle Palace, designed by Pablo Donato Carbonell in the 19th century, enriches the landscape of Cienfuegos Bay with its eclectic architectural style. Walking further down the Malecón connects you to the Paseo de Prado. It is the longest walkway in Cuba. The Prado runs from the Malecón all the way to the Jose Marti Park. Along the way is a side street called the Boulevard. This street fills up with people and different shops. At the end of the Prado lies the UNIAC Garden. Orlando Garcia Martinez says the birds bring in good spirits.
Y por supuesto, nosotros siempre decimos que cuando están los pájaros y sobre todo vienen los zunzún a hacer sus nidos, es porque el espíritu de la paz está predominando en el espacio.
In the day, you can hear the nature and the calming presence. At night, bands come to play music and bring dancing to this garden. We hope you enjoyed the sights of Cuba, but coming up after the break, Sophia will show you how music and dance make up the soul of Cuba.
I'm Sophia McCready's. I was a competitive dancer for most of my childhood. I also love to sing. I can't wait to dance and feel the rhythms of Cuba. Cuban music and dance is an important part of the heart and soul of the island. Mostly known for its salsa, flamenco, and mambo. But in 1926, a group called Los Naranjos opened a new chapter in the musical world, right here in Cienfuegos. Every Thursday here at UNIAC, Los Naranjos perform timeless Cuban music, better known as son. The band's name translates to the orange trees, referring to where they used to practice. One band member says his childhood passion is what pushed him to keep the traditional music alive. Perform timeless Cuban music, better known as I got to speak with Simone Gonzalez, who grew up listening to the band and comes every week to watch them play.
El son tradicional. El son tradicional es una cosa clásica, muy bella, muy maravillosa. Es lo más sublime. Para bailar el son es lo más sublime para alegrar el corazón. El que lo dijo no se equivocó, Matamoros, no se equivocó.
Gonzalez told me that his heart is centered in Cuban music. This style of music continues to live on through younger generations, like this group of college students. From a festival at the University of Cienfuegos all the way to a competition in Havana, these three students won an award for a love song they wrote.
Como pudiera explicarte todo lo que siento en mi corazón y cuando te
They go by Sabor a Cuba, which translates to Cuban flavor.
Como tal, tocamos casi que todos los géneros de la música, acorde al formato que tenemos, pero preferentemente nos gusta la música cubana, la salsa, el son, la música movida. Los boleros. También tocamos todos los géneros.
Music is much more than a hobby for these boys.
La música, no solo para nosotros, la música para el cubano es algo que es vida. El cubano sin música no vive.
Similar to Sabor a Cuba, a group of girls from Junco Sur are putting their own twist on traditional culture. The Lembranza dancers are preserving their Spanish legacy by mixing Cuban traditional rhythms with flamenco fusion. One of the dancers, Melanie Padron, even showed me a move. Girls from ages 5 to 18 don't only come to dance, but to grow.
La danza es la herramienta para transformar o modificar conductas de estas niñas. Puede ser conductas de ansiedad, de inhibición, de ser retraídas en las escuelas, en su medio, en su entorno.
The girls have to pass 3 different levels of dance before being able to dance for the company.
Pero al mismo tiempo es una emoción muy grande saber que gusta lo que están haciendo, que las personas, yo miro el rostro de las personas que están viéndolas y veo cómo sonríen y cómo lo disfrutan, y eso es una gran satisfacción para un padre.
They're not just becoming better dancers, they're becoming better people.
Es decir, que es un trabajo muy bonito, que todos los niños y niñas podamos ayudarlos a ser seres humanos mejores y tributen a la sociedad cubana.
Just a few miles away, another group of dancers are trying to keep a different type of culture alive. Project Marica started in 2015 with husband and wife Adrian and Marlaise Marin. Named Marica for the sounds of maracas, the goal of the project is to conserve dances from the Caribbean and indigenous cultures.
Veo el cambio de jóvenes de 17 años que ya son adultos con edad laboral, sin ninguna formación artística, y cómo yo he logrado transformarlos de bailadores a bailarines. Para mí es una satisfacción muy grande.
Marlaise teaches in a space with no mirrors or the typical makings of a dance studio. Dance mom Patricia Garcia feels the Marica opens doors for her child.
En estos momentos, si no fuera por este proyecto, a lo mejor mi niña no tuviera la oportunidad, como tienen otros niños, de no poder expresar, de no poder bailar, de no poder cumplir su sueño, que es ser bailarina.
I even got the chance to move it to the mambo.
2, 3, 4.
Some dancers come to the Marica to find themselves.
Me siento yo. Así le demuestro a las personas quién soy yo. A algunas personas no les gusta cómo bailo, otras sí, pero me siento cómodo bailando.
Now that you got to feel Cuba's beat, after the break, Khalil will take us through the art of Cienfuegos.
I'm Khalil Maycock, and I have a personal connection with the fine arts. Growing up, I was involved in musical theater and operas. Join me as I take you through Cuba's art scene. Now that you've seen the sights and sounds of Cienfuegos, it's time that I show you this town's artists. You'll see how they express themselves by showing their passion of the Cuban culture and showing their love for the people. The Graphic Society does both. Inside, there's a workshop that is home to Rafael Angel Cáceres Vallareres. Here, he creates art. One form of art he creates is lithographs. Vallareres showed me the most important step of making lithographs. This machine applies pressure so the ink transfers to the paper to create this result. The art gallery also showcases artwork where artists express their beliefs, including politics. Along with creating art, Vallareres says he feels like he has a responsibility to help his community. And just outside the door of his workshop is the responsibility he refers to, helping people with special needs. Caritas Cuba, a Catholic organization, and the Graphic Society help people with special needs learn life skills. This program has been here for 10 years.
Ellos cuando llegaron, los 6 primeros, estaban como muy rígidos, muy amarrados, no se comunicaban mucho. Eso fue cambiando poco a poco.
Vallareres attributes this change to art. It's an activity the 19 special needs students create every Tuesday. Jennifer Delgado, a volunteer with the students, says their art is then used to promote an art show in the city.
O sea, la expresión de este programa que estamos hablando ahora, de que ellos participan todos los años. O sea, esa exposición fue en promoción a ese evento. O sea, es la exposición de ellos, de ese evento.
Students come here to be creative, but to also learn everyday life skills, such as buttoning up a shirt or going to the store to shop. Mariela Salas, coordinator of Caritas en Cienfuegos, says the program helps students learn independence.
Los ponemos a peinarse, a cepillarse los dientes, que ellos lo hacen,
a amarrarse los zapatos, a hornearse las camisas, a coser. Hacen diferentes manualidades. Muchas cosas hacen ellos en el taller.
Donations and artwork bought on site help fund this program. A short drive from the Graphic Society to the Jose Marti Park, you'll see Cathedral de la Purísima, which is not just a place of worship. It's also the other site where the students with special needs go to learn. At this location, the students are taught other life skills such as ironing and how to fold clothes. On this day, I joined the students while they strung yarn through the holes of animal cutouts. After leaving the cathedral and walking through the Jose Marti Park, you can see artists coming together to share and sell artwork. One artist is Israel Reyes Rosel. He uses wood to create his art, but collects this material from collapsed homes.
Uno le vienen ideas a la mente, ¿no? Y esas ideas trata de expresarlas, trata de sacarlas al exterior. Y la forma que yo tengo de expresar eso es a través de la madera. Por eso es que me gusta.
This is the third year artists have come to the Benny Moré Cultural Center for the Arts for this event. It is dedicated to a famous musician named Benny Moré, a figure who's very important to the Cuban culture.
Es un evento donde los artesanos intercambian artesanía que tiene que ver con nuestras tradiciones, con nuestra identidad.
The program offers a workshop for students of Cienfuegos to learn arts and crafts techniques. Osvaldo Gutierrez Lama is one of the artists who dedicates his time teaching children about art. For Lama, art is a spiritual escape.
Como artista, crear es muy importante para el espíritu, que es lo más importante. Y tratamos de crear eso en los niños, de implicarlos en todo ese proceso también para que en un futuro sean más libres espiritualmente.
The workshop for the kids and the artisans is an introduction for next year, when the city has its 200th anniversary. Ramirez hopes to shine a light on Cienfuegos through these activities so they won't get lost. Steps away from the Benny Moré Cultural Center for the Arts is Ania Alonso's showroom. Alonso is a local artist, but her pieces have crossed international waters. In 2004, Alonso had an exhibition in Toronto, Canada. Some of Alonso's artwork are done in the style of calligraphy. Calligraphy is a collage of materials glued onto a surface, which can be cardboard or wood. Alonso says she likes this style because it is unique and challenging.
Because this technique is not made for many people. It's very hard for women. Because the process is very long.
This tedious process can be seen in Alonso's piece called Café del Puerto, the meeting of two people representing the American and Cuban flag coming together to drink coffee. And speaking of coffee, Alonso uses that ingredient when designing her fans. If showrooms aren't your thing, but interacting with art is, I have the place for you, the Park of Sculptures. But this park has more than just figures. Over the years, more and more Wi-Fi hotspots have popped up throughout Cuba, like this one in Cienfuegos called Park of Sculptures, where people come and get connected and enjoy art while sitting in the shade. People have been coming to the park like these two since July of 2007, when the park opened. Locals and tourists can come to the park and enjoy one or all of the 17 sculptures designed by Cuban artists.
Cuando tenga la posibilidad nos reunimos un grupo de amistades y nos sentamos aquí a pasar un rato.
Each sculpture has a deeper meaning. Yadira Herrera Hernandez, a tour guide, says the sculpture with hands symbolizes the people and unity.
They show how together precisely Cuban people are, and not Cuban people, how communicative we are and how eager we are to help each other.
And this is the culture of Cienfuegos. Many say that nature inspires art, and Cristina Diaz takes us to places where nature shines a light on Cienfuegos.
I'm Cristina Diaz, and I love traveling to new places to enjoy nature. Join me to learn more about sustainability initiatives in Cuba. Cienfuegos is a city full of art, music, and dance. But when paired with science, the influence can change a life. Before talking about the environment, we're going to visit a site full of innovation. Located inside the University of Cienfuegos is Método NeuroPoint, a community project that is providing children with developmental disabilities a chance to improve their 5 senses.
Primero que todo porque es un proyecto noble, es un proyecto humano que tiene en cuenta las potencialidades primero que todo y luego las necesidades de los niños.
This art isn't just beautiful, they use tools like this sensory wall to teach kids about colors and textures. Yaima Rodriguez is one of the teachers who helps children when they come to the lab.
El laboratorio desde el inicio, desde su inauguración, ha sido una fuente de expectativas para toda la comunidad científica y para la comunidad cienfueguera en general, puesto que aquí varias familias ponen, ¿no?, las esperanzas de un mejor desarrollo de sus hijos.
Not only does the project influence the community, it also has a place in Yaima's heart. Innovation is at the heart of the community, and just a couple miles away in the city is a sweet surprise. Nereda and Heriberto are one honey-loving couple. Back in 2004, they decided to take in a couple hundred new family members. Maripona bees.
Es como a un bebé que lo quieres y ves que progresa y quieres verlo más como avanza, aprender más.
But these aren't your typical bees. They don't have a stinger, so you can even hold them in your hands.
Su importancia, cómo ellas cuidan el medio ambiente y cómo nosotros debemos cuidarla a ellas.
Indigenous to the island, these bees are used for medicinal benefits as well as sustainability. The couple takes care of 30 beehives right in their backyard and are part of a group of Cienfuegos residents who are working to save the environment. Along with teaching me, they even let me taste the honey right from the hive.
Fui, como se dice, cogiéndolo como un amor, como una afición hacia esos animalitos.
After their first beehive, the fascination grew. But this all wouldn't have been possible without the help of Professor Jose Andres Martinez.
El amor que todas las personas que la tienen le ponen a la práctica, a la conservación de la especie y el impacto tan grande que le hace a todas las personas, ya sean agricultores o no, dentro de la ciudad.
Curiosity turned to passion, and caring for these bees means more to them than just conservation.
Ustedes pueden ver que nosotros estamos aquí y ella está muy tranquila.
Now, how long will the couple take care of these animals?
Hasta que el universo nos diga.
While the community is working to preserve the environment inside of the city, others are outside in the home of over 2,000 species of plants. Here at the city's botanical garden, Roger Echevarria works to teach about and preserve these plants.
It's a very important place in our country. We do a lot of research in this area.
Americans and Cubans worked together to build this stone water tank in the 1920s as part of a Harvard research lab here in Cuba.
Also, we introduce in this place new species, new varieties of tropical plants, and that's the way we have to keep alive this tropical jewel in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. The famous banyan tree.
Roger enjoys when he has the opportunity to teach people about the plants and animals of the area. In the city of crystal blue waters, you'll want to make your way over to one of the many beaches. Here at the Playa Alegra, there once stood a famous dock. This quiet family beach is known for the macabi fish that live in the water.
And the community has a very strong relation with the ocean. So the ocean is very important for the economical activities of the community. So people fish and they collect things that come from the ocean.
So when you come to visit Cuba, make your way over to this beachside restaurant.
It's been an amazing experience getting to know the art and soul of this island.
We've taken you beyond politics and into the heart of Cuba.
Its art, culture, and music unites us with its people.
Thanks for joining us on this important journey. Until next time, this is Cuba, Art and Soul.